Hi, I'm Maureen King, and welcome to That Tapping Thing. I know you're excited to get onto your journey to healing. Well, you're in luck, because the journey starts here, and I'm your tour guide. This video is going to be a little bit longer than some of the others, perhaps, because I want to go into depth explaining to you exactly how EFT is going to be done, the process. We're going to be using the basic recipe, and my profound thanks to Gary Craig, the developer of Emotional Freedom Techniques. With the basic recipe, it's always going to start with something called the setup. You can think of it kind of like setting up the pins at a bowling alley before you're ready to throw the ball to strike them down. The techniques I'm about to share with you have been used by countless numbers of people to improve their lives. As with any lifestyle change, please discuss them with your healthcare practitioner. If you continue to watch these videos and practice these techniques, you are agreeing to take responsibility for your own emotional and physical well-being. All you're going to do is you're going to acknowledge whatever the problem is, and then you're going to give yourself unconditional love and acceptance. Now, a lot of times people don't want to acknowledge their problem, and I actually felt the same way when I was first introduced to this technique, because I thought I don't want to add more energy to whatever problem I have going on in my life or whatever thoughts I have that I don't want to continue having. But what I found out is that this technique does not add energy to those problems or those thoughts that you're trying to avoid. Actually, what it does is it neutralizes them so that instead you can focus on the things you do want to manifest in your life. While you're doing the setup, and you're going to basically say the situation 3 times, while you're doing it, there's 2 different ways that you can approach it. You can either tap on what's called the karate chop point, and if you think about it, it's the area where, yes, you would do a karate chop with your hand if you were going to do it. So it's between the base of your finger and your wrist, and using 4 fingers of the other hand, you can do whichever hand you want, whichever is more comfortable. But while you're doing this, you would just simply be tapping the entire time you're saying the 3 problems with the affirmations following. Rather than using the karate chop point, another alternative is to use what's called the sore spot. And really it's called that because it's an area of lymphatic tissue that sometimes is a little bit sore when you rub on it. You want to use just gentle pressure. You don't want to cause any damage to yourself. And of course, if you have any kind of issue going on physically, avoid that area completely and just simply do the karate chop point. But to find that sore spot, what you're going to do is just find that notch at the base of your neck, that little U shape. Go down about 3 inches and over either direction about 3 inches. It doesn't matter which way you go. And you're going to use just the pads of your fingers instead of the fingertips this time. You're going to use the pads of your fingers, and you're going to just simply rub around that area gently, a little bit of gentle pressure while you're saying the setup affirmation phrases. Okay? So you can choose this way with the karate chop point, or you can use this way. But either way, the way the setup works is you're going to be doing it 3 times, and what you're going to be saying is you're going to acknowledge your problem and then give yourself unconditional acceptance or unconditional love. And you want to be as specific as possible. If you think about a quarterback, they can have an awesome arm, but if they don't know where the receiver is, it doesn't do them much good to throw the ball. So with this procedure, you want to really aim all of this energy that we're using, all of this technique, at the right problem and be as specific as possible. So, an example, it's going to always start with even though, and then you name your problem. So I'll give you a few examples. Even though I get really nervous speaking in front of people, or it might be, even though I'm nervous about starting a new job, or even though I eat past the point of being full, even though I eat when I'm bored, whatever the issue happens to be, you want to go ahead and be as specific as possible. The second part of it is you're going to give yourself a sign of unconditional love or acceptance. What I generally say and usually have adults say is, but I deeply and completely accept myself. With kids, instead of that, sometimes I have them say, I'm awesome, or I'm a cool kid. So there's different ways to do it. What you're not going to do, however, is you're not going to say, even though I eat when I'm bored, I'm going to quit doing that. Because regardless of whether you do it or don't do it, you should still love and accept yourself. We cut a break for everybody else. We understand nobody else is perfect and everybody has their challenges that they're going through, and we still love and accept them. But sometimes we beat ourselves up over our own issues. So the whole focus of this is acknowledge your problem. Don't be afraid of it. Acknowledge that problem, but still completely love and accept yourself. And let's go ahead and wipe it out. So I'm going to go ahead and show you an example. Even though I eat when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Second time, even though I eat when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Last time, even though I eat when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. That's all there was to it. With the setup, like I said, you want to be as specific as possible. The other thing about it is you want to use as much energy and emphasis as possible. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not. But just kind of pretend they're your lines in a play and you're up on stage. So even though, and the other way to do it, of course, would be rubbing that sore spot. Even though I eat when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you would do it 3 times, just as if you were doing it here. So that's the setup. And then we're going to move on to learning about the sequence. Before, though, you actually start the entire system, once you put it all together, you're going to stop and think about how strong the feelings are that you're dealing with. How strong of a challenge is it for you right now? For example, if you were having a situation where even though I eat when I'm bored, stop and think on a scale of 0, where it doesn't bother you at all, it's as if somebody else eats when they're bored and it doesn't affect you, or a 10 is I'm so upset with myself right now I could yell or scream or cry, or someplace in the middle. The reason you're going to go ahead and do that is because you want to see if this technique is working for you. So always, before you actually start the setup and then follow it with the sequence and the 9 gamut, which I'm going to teach you, always start it by evaluating from 0 to 10, how much is this bothering me? If it's about an emotional situation or some kind of event from your past, you're going to stop and think about it with in as many details as possible. What was going on, what kind of sounds you heard, what kind of feelings you had. And you're not going to think about how much it bothered you then when it happened 3 years ago or 5 months ago or when you were a little kid, but you're going to think about how much does it bother me now to think about that situation. Okay, and again, 0 to 10, whatever number you come up with is perfect. Don't stress over this, okay? It's just part of the process. The next part of the basic recipe, you can think of it kind of like a sandwich, okay? This is how Gary Craig describes it. And he says the sequence would be like the top bread. The 9 gamut is going to be the meat or the filling in the middle. And then the sequence again will be the bottom bread. And that's going to be exactly the same sequence that you did on the top. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the sequence. And I'm going to tell you that the very first point that I'm going to show you on the top of the head is actually not part of Gary's original basic recipe, but I did learn it from his advanced videos. So I think he'll be okay with me letting you know about it. It does tend to be really effective. So the sequence, you're going to tap about 7 times, but I don't bother counting. About 7 times just around the top of your head, and I use both hands. You could use one hand, you could use the other hand, whatever you're comfortable with. But you're going to do about 7 times each. So from the head, then you go to the eyebrow. And you're actually going, I'm going to take these off for this, you're actually going to be going straight up the bridge of the nose and to the hair right here where the eyebrow starts. You can either do the right side or straight up the bridge of the nose, right to where the eyebrow starts. You can do the left side, or very often what I do is I just do both at the same time. So we've got our eyebrow. You're going to be tapping about 7 times. And then you have, notice we're going to be going down your body. So you started with the top of the head, then the eyebrow, and then you're going to go around the eye socket to the side of the eye. And again, tap about 7 times. While you're tapping, you would be saying your reminder phrase. And the reminder phrase is because this whole process is distracting. So your reminder phrase is just that problem that was inside your setup. So in our case, the reminder phrase would be, I eat when I'm bored. Okay? From the side of the eye, you go down around the eye socket again to the little bone on the socket under your eye. And it's simply called under your eye. Again, you could do one side, the other side, or both. It doesn't matter, but about 7 times. Then you're going to do under the nose, about 7 times while you say your reminder, I eat when I'm bored, or whatever it happens to be. Continuing down your body, it's called the chin, but it's really this dip between your lip and your chin. You're going to tap there. And then the next place, continuing down your body, is called the collarbone, but it really isn't truly on the collarbone. And in Gary's initial things, he talks about it being from the collarbone and the first rib, and he goes into detail about how to find it. On his more advanced videos, he just says, make a little fist and gently tap around where you would tie a tie. So when we talk about the collarbone point, that's what we're saying to do. Just tap around the general area where you would tie a tie, and you're going to get it. From that, and again, you can be using either hand, it doesn't matter. From that, you're going to reach across your body, straight across your body. It's called underarm, but it really isn't up in your armpit. It's about 4 inches below your armpit, and it's directly on the side of your body. Think of like where it would be right on your swimsuit, okay? So you're going to be tapping on the side of your body, and it's considered the underarm. And then once we finish with the body, you're going to go to the spots on the hand. And again, you would be saying your reminder phrase. So in this particular example, it was, even though I eat when I'm bored. From that, just put either hand out in front of you. Okay, now we're going to talk about the places on the hand. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. You're going to use 2 fingers from whichever hand you're not using. It doesn't matter. You can switch whichever is comfortable. But you're going to use 2 fingers. And the idea is that you want to tap right along here at the base of the fingernail. Let's see if I can get it in there. Right along here so that you're at the base of the fingernail, but you actually want to be on the side of the finger. So, if you do the side of the finger close to the fingertip and use a couple fingers of the other hand and just tap on there about 7 times while you're saying that reminder phrase. So, even though I eat when I'm bored. And then you're going to go on to the next finger and do exactly the same thing. Again, I don't bother counting, but it's about 7 times each. So you're at the fingertip, right there, even with your finger, so that you're getting the whole area, and we are on the side of the hand, the side of the finger, closest to the ceiling if you're holding your hand with your thumb up in the air. Tap there about 7 times. I don't bother counting, but while you say that reminder phrase, eat when I'm bored, go on to the next finger, exactly the same routine, eat when I'm bored. You're tapping about 7 times. Now in Gary's actual basic recipe, in part of the sequence, he skips the ring finger, but I'm going to go ahead and include it just for simplicity. But know that it is an alteration from Gary's actual sequence. So I'm going to do the ring finger about 7 times with the reminder, eat when I'm bored, and then move on to the baby finger. Again, I'm by the fingertip. I'm not on the top of the finger by the fingernail. I'm on the side of the finger closest to the ceiling. And then back around the end of the sequence is back around to that karate chop point where you first started. Now, if you were somebody that did the sore spot instead, you would still finish the sequence with the karate chop point. The sore spot is not part of the sequence. It's only part of the setup. So there you have it. That's the sequence. In just a minute, I'm going to show you the 9 gamut. And basically, all you're going to do is close and make a fist. Now, if you notice where your knuckles are, you have your knuckle of your baby finger and your ring finger, and you're just going to kind of make a little bit of a line back towards your wrist, about 1/2 inch, and you'll find a dip right about there. So that's considered the gamut point, okay? That's the 9 gamut point. And while you're tapping there and thinking about your reminder phrase, you're going to do 9 actions. So, again, here's the knuckle of the baby finger, knuckle of the ring finger, find the dent between them, and then pull back towards your wrist about 1/2 inch until you find that little spot there, that little dip. That's what you're going to be tapping continuously on. For me, I think it's easier if I set my hand down at this point to do the 9 gamut. Here's a series of actions that you're going to do while you tap the 9 gamut. You're going to keep your head straight the entire time. And while tapping the 9 gamut, close your eyes, open your eyes, keep your head straight. Continue tapping, but you're going to look hard down to one direction and then hard down to the other direction. Okay? You would have been tapping the whole time. It doesn't matter which side you look to first, whether it's right or left. But you're going to keep your head straight and you're going to look down to either the right and then switch to the left, or the left and switch to the right. After you do that, you're going to take your eyes and you're going to imagine having them go all the way around the face of a clock. So again, you've tapped the whole time, keep your head straight, and while you're doing it, you're just going to follow all the way around in a circle with your eyes, and then all the way back the other direction with your eyes. And it really doesn't matter which way you went first, just do the opposite the second time. Once you finish doing that, you're going to hum. And it doesn't matter what you hum, but it needs to be a song, not just okay? So whatever song is your favorite song, you can go ahead and do that. Just for simplicity, I'm going to do Happy Birthday. So you'd hum with me. Then you're going to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to hum again. That was it. That's the 9 gamut, but I'm going to show it to you in one smooth motion. So, find the place between your baby finger knuckle and your ring finger knuckle. Go back towards your wrist about 1/2 inch. Start tapping. While you do that tapping, you're going to do 9 actions. Close your eyes. Open your eyes. Look hard down one direction, so we'll look to the right. Hard down to the left. Roll your eyes all the way in a circle, keeping your head straight. Roll your eyes all the way back the other direction, keeping your head straight. Hum, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hum again. And you follow that up with the sequence. So we're closing the bread up, that sandwich up. We had the sequence to start with. We have the 9 gamut in the middle. And we're going to finish it up with the sequence again. So let's see if you can remember what to do. Remember, I've added the head point, which is in his advanced videos, Gary Craig's. From that, we're moving down our body, and you're doing the reminder phrase. So in this situation, the reminder phrase was, even though I eat when I'm bored. To the eyebrows, either side, or both. Outer eye, side of eye. Under eye, right there on that eye socket bone, not down here on your cheek, it's up here on the eye socket. Under your nose, and the whole time you would be saying the reminder phrase, in this particular case, even though I eat when I'm full, when I'm bored. Your chin, which is really that dip between your lip and your chin. The collarbone point, which really for us, we just simply make a little fist and gently tap around where you would tie a tie. Reach across your body. It's called underarm, but it's really just straight on the side of your body, about 4 inches under your arm. It's where your swimsuit would be. Then the places on the hand, starting with the thumb, 7 times, or more or less. Next one, I eat when I'm bored. Next one, eat when I'm bored. Gary would skip the next one, but I'm going to go ahead and do it just for simplicity. I eat when I'm bored. Baby finger, I eat when I'm bored. And back around to that karate chop point. I eat when I'm bored. And that's it. That's the entire basic recipe. When you assess how you're feeling, if you're, whatever the negative feeling was, if it's down to a 0, so it's kind of like watching somebody else on TV, it doesn't have any impact on you, it doesn't bother you at all, then you're done. If it isn't completely gone down to a 0, let's say that you started at a 10 and it's gone down to a 5, then what you would do is you'd go ahead and just start the whole process over, but this time with the setup, you're going to do an adjusted affirmation. Because you took care of part of the problem, you still have some of the problem. So, let me give you an example. If we were using, I eat when I'm bored, your new setup statement, either rubbing here on the sore spot, find that notch, down 3, over 3, either direction and rubbing, or tapping on the karate chop point. And this time, just for demonstration, I'll go ahead and do on the sore spot. So you're going to repeat the affirmation 3 times, but this time it's the adjusted affirmation. You've taken care of part of the problem, but you still have some of this problem remaining. Okay? So, even though I still have some of this problem eating when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. 2 times. Even though I still have some of this problem eating when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. 3rd time. Even though I still have some of this problem eating when I'm bored, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And you really want to say it with emphasis and meaning. Then you're going to go through that whole sandwich again with the sequence, the 9 gamut in between, and the last sequence. But this time, your adjusted sequence is going to be your remaining problem. Just like in math, your leftover is your remainder, well, you still have a leftover problem. So, starting at your head, remaining problem, eyebrow, remaining problem, outer eye, remaining problem, and this is on the eye socket. It's not way back here on the temple. It's on the eye socket, remaining problem, and you can be more specific. You could say, remaining eating when I'm bored, down your body, remaining eat when I'm bored, about 7 times each. Remaining eat when I'm bored, 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 remaining eat when I'm bored. Take a breath. Find that 9 gamut spot. You're going to be thinking about remaining eat when I'm bored, and you're going to do the whole sequence of 9, not the sequence. You're going to do on the gamut point, you're going to do a gamut of 9 actions. Eyes closed, eyes open, look hard down to the right, look hard down to the left, do your eyes all the way around in a circle, keep tapping, do your eyes all the way back the other way, hum, count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hum, and that last sequence. Remaining problem, 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 remaining problem. Remember, Gary skips this one, but I do it. Remaining problem, remaining problem, remaining problem. Take a breath and assess again. If the problem's down to a 0, it's gone, you're done. If not, just start over again with that adjusted setup, even though I still have some of this problem. And be sure you say it with emphasis. Sometimes this sore spot is a little more effective with some people than the karate chop point. So try them both. See what works for you. Something I want to emphasize is that everybody is different. Please approach this with an open mind and without expectations. I understand you want to feel better. That's why you're here. That's why you're trying this. But don't think that one size fits all. With some people, they're going to do this with a craving, and it can knock that craving out really quickly. With other people, or even with the same person at a different time in their life, or when it's concerning a different issue, it may take a little bit longer. You may actually have a delayed reaction where within a few hours you feel better, or a couple days later you start feeling better. With some things, especially with emotional themes and underlying issues, you may have to do this up to 25 times a day before you can really knock through this problem. But please, be persistent, give it a shot without judgment or blame. That's not what this is about, trust me. This is about feeling better and that unconditional love and acceptance for yourself, no matter what your outcome or result is. So good luck.